You ever notice how people love to brag about how advanced we are? We've got AI, quantum computing, and self-driving cars. Yeah, but we still can't drive ourselves to basic self-awareness. We keep upgrading our gadgets, but not our brains. Humanity's running on a prehistoric operating system, version 1.0, full of bugs, denial, and ego malware. We've got people who can code an algorithm that predicts the weather, but they can't predict their own temper. Folks who can spend 10 hours scrolling on their phones, but can't spend 10 minutes sitting with their thoughts. That's the thing about humans. We don't want self-awareness, we want self-affirmation. We want to be told we're fine, even when we're the reason the planet's on fire and society's circling the drain. Everywhere you look, people are acting like software that refuses to update. Would you like to install the latest version of empathy? Nah, maybe later, I'm too busy arguing online. And when life crashes, we blame everyone else. Parents, teachers, politicians, God, never the user. Nobody reads the manual of their own mind. If aliens ever showed up, they wouldn't invade. They'd just shake their heads and leave. These creatures invented machines that can think, but forgot how to think themselves. That's humanity in one sentence. We've made consciousness optional, so maybe it's time for a patch, Human 2.0. Now with introspection and less bullshit. Imagine that. A world where people actually understood themselves before trying to fix everyone else. But hey, who needs self-awareness when you've got filters, followers, and pharmaceuticals? Humanity has been obsessed with upgrading everything. Our phones, our cars, our homes, even our toothbrushes. Every year we get new models, faster chips, and smarter devices. But somehow, the one thing that hasn't been upgraded in centuries is the human mind. We've turned into a species that can build rockets to Mars, but still can't handle being cut off in traffic. We can connect with anyone across the globe in a split second, but can't seem to connect with the person sitting right next to us. Our technology evolved faster than our consciousness, and now we're stuck in this weird limbo where the machines are learning faster than the people who made them. It's ironic, really. We call this the age of information, but most people use it to prove how uninformed they are. We have infinite knowledge at our fingertips, but instead of using it to understand ourselves or the world better, we scroll through videos of cats doing taxes or people arguing about pineapple on pizza. The smarter our technology gets, the dumber our behavior becomes. It's as if evolution said, you know what, let's just stop here. They seem busy with Wi-Fi. The problem isn't that we have too much technology. It's that we have too little awareness to handle it. We created machines that mimic human intelligence, but we forgot to question whether humans were intelligent enough in the first place. Every day, we see people who can program artificial intelligence, but can't manage their own emotions. They can make a computer feel empathy through data patterns, but they can't muster real empathy for a struggling human being. We've built a world where it's easier to upgrade your phone than your perspective. People talk about a human progress, but progress isn't about faster processors or shinier screens. It's about deeper understanding. Yet, when was the last time humanity collectively paused to ask, what are we doing and why? We measure advancement in gigabytes and GDP, not in kindness or awareness. And that's why everything feels off. We become technicians of the external world, but amateurs of our internal one. Our focus is outward. Unlike shares, followers, profits, but almost never inward, where the real bugs are hiding. There's a dangerous imbalance here. When intelligence grows without awareness, technology becomes a weapon in the hands of children. We see it every day. Social media used to manipulate emotions, data used to exploit, and innovation used to divide. We build tools to amplify the worst parts of ourselves. Ego, greed, vanity, because that's what sells. Our inventions reflect our creators, and right now, humanity looks like a brilliant engineer trapped in a child's body. What's worse is how we justify it. We call it a progress when it's really just distraction wrapped in convenience. We've mistaken information for wisdom and connection for meaning. The average person spends more time learning to operate a phone than learning to understand themselves. We outsource our memory to the cloud, our opinions to influencers, and our emotions to entertainment. And then we wonder why we feel empty, lost, and anxious even though we have everything. The truth is, no amount of technology can fill the void created by the absence of self-awareness. It's almost poetic. Humans invented machines to make life easier. And now those same machines are making life meaningless. The more we automate, the less we think. The more we delegate to algorithms, the less we engage with reality. We become passive spectators in our own existence, always consuming, rarely questioning. Self-awareness is supposed to be our evolutionary edge, but it's been buried under a mountain of notifications. If you step back and look at humanity from a distance, it's like watching a bunch of toddlers with laser beams, endlessly fascinated by the shiny buttons, completely unaware of the damage they're causing. We invented artificial intelligence, but we're running on artificial awareness. And that's the real tragedy, until we learn to upgrade our inner software, our empathy, patience, curiosity. All our external progress will just make our failures more efficient. The world doesn't need faster technology. It needs slower minds willing to look in the mirror. And right now, that mirror is cracked. And most people are too distracted to notice. People don't really want self-awareness. They want comfort, validation, and distraction dressed up as enlightenment. The moment you ask someone to take an honest look at themselves, they start fidgeting like a kid caught with chocolate on their face. It's uncomfortable to see your own contradictions and hypocrisies. That's why most people choose denial. It's easier. Denial is humanity's favorite app. It comes pre-installed, runs in the background, and you can't uninstall it. We lie to ourselves so we can sleep at night, even when the truth is banging on the door like a repo man with a clipboard. You see it everywhere. People rant about corruption but cheat on their taxes. They post about kindness online but treat waiters like furniture. They complain that politicians are dishonest while lying to their own kids about why the dog ran away. It's not that humans don't know the truth. It's that we don't want to deal with it. Awareness forces responsibility, and responsibility means change. That's too much work. It's much easier to scroll, blame, or pretend. We build entire industries around avoiding reflection, entertainment, consumerism, religion, politics. Everything is designed to keep us busy so we never have to stop and think, or maybe I'm part of the problem. Society rewards denial. You get called a positive for ignoring reality and a negative for pointing it out. People will say, don't be so cynical, as if noticing nonsense is a character flaw. We've rebranded delusion as optimism. Everyone's walking around saying a good vibes only, but good vibes don't pay attention to the mess we've made. You can't meditate your way out of self-deception if you never question it. Real introspection isn't sitting cross-legged with incense. It's looking at the parts of yourself you don't like and asking, why am I like this? That's not popular. There's no filter for that. The modern world runs on avoidance. The news is noise, social media is theater, and daily life is distraction. We've created echo chambers where everyone's opinion is sacred as long as it's theirs. People don't want discussion. They want affirmation. The algorithm knows it too. It feeds you what you agree with so you never have to face an uncomfortable truth. Self-awareness gets buried under convenience. Why question your beliefs when you can just mute anyone who disagrees? Why grow when you can just scroll? Even when people try to be self-aware, it's often performative. They read self-help books not to evolve but to justify who they already are. They don't want transformation. They want validation with better vocabulary. I'm not controlling. I just have strong boundaries. I'm not lazy. I'm protecting my energy. We've weaponized therapy language to avoid therapy. The ego is a brilliant illusionist. It makes you think you're changing while you're just rehearsing the same script with fancier words. Denial isn't just personal, it's collective. Governments deny climate change while cities flood. Companies deny exploitation while marketing as sustainability. Nations deny history while celebrating independence. Humanity has turned self-deception into an Olympic sport, and we're all going for gold. The irony is that deep down, most people know they're lying. That quiet voice of awareness never really shuts up. It's just drowned out by noise. But instead of listening, we turn up the volume. If people truly practiced self-awareness, the entire system would crumble. Advertising would lose power, politicians would lose followers, and society would lose its illusions. That's why denial is so addictive. It keeps the fantasy running. Awareness is the ultimate rebellion because it dismantles everything false. But most folks don't want revolution. They want routine, so they keep hitting the snooze and the alarm of self-awareness, hoping the noise will stop. It won't. Humanity keeps waiting for the next big update. Better technology, smarter tools, faster everything. But the real upgrade we need isn't in silicon chips or software code, it's in consciousness. The world is running on an outdated mental operating system built on greed, fear, and ego, and it keeps crashing. You can't expect harmony from hardware that was never programmed for empathy. Until we evolve the way we think and feel, all our innovations are just fancy decorations on a collapsing structure. We've built skyscrapers and satellites, but our minds are still tribal, insecure, and driven by the same primitive impulses that ruled the cavemen. Only now, those impulses have Wi-Fi and nuclear weapons. We talk about artificial intelligence as if it's the future, but the real danger isn't the machines. It's the humans operating without consciousness. We made AI to imitate intelligence, not awareness, because we ourselves don't practice it. Awareness would mean accountability. It would mean asking, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? Who gets hurt by it? But that kind of reflection doesn't sell. Awareness doesn't trend. It's much easier to keep upgrading the outside world and leaving the inside untouched. Humanity has mastered the art of invention but failed the test of introspection. Imagine if humans had a software update that added empathy, curiosity, and honesty as default settings. Imagine a world where people actually understood themselves before trying to fix everyone else. Where politicians had to take an emotional intelligence test before running for office. Where schools taught critical thinking and compassion with the same seriousness they teach math and science. It sounds idealistic because in our current state it is. We don't value awareness, we value appearances. We've mistaken image for integrity and intelligence for wisdom. The human species has developed technology that can simulate consciousness but not sustain it. The missing update isn't about becoming smarter, it's about becoming more awake. We're surrounded by people who are conscious enough to manipulate systems, but not conscious enough to understand consequences. Every crisis we face, climate, inequality, conflict, isn't a resource problem. It's a reflection problem. We keep externalizing blame when the virus is internal. The world is broken not because we lack tools, but because we lack the awareness to use them wisely. You can't fix a moral deficit with a technological surplus. Every app, every advancement, every scientific breakthrough is neutral. It's our awareness, or lack of it, that decides whether it heals or harms. If humanity were to install Update, Awareness 2.0, the patch notes would be simple. Bug fixes for arrogance, improved perception of others, reduced ignorance lag, enhanced capacity for compassion. But we'd probably still click a remind me later. People don't want awareness because awareness ruins the illusion. It forces you to see how small, scared, and inconsistent you really are. And yet, that's the only way out. Without self-awareness, progress becomes self-destruction in disguise. Every new invention becomes another way to avoid reflection. The future doesn't depend on technology. It depends on whether we finally learn to know ourselves. Until we evolve inwardly, we'll keep repeating the same patterns. Smarter machines, same foolish masters. The missing human update isn't about data or devices. It's about daring to look in the mirror, not flinch. So here we are. A species that can split the atom, map the human genome, and send robots to Mars, but still can't sit quietly with itself for 5 minutes. We've conquered the external world, but lost the internal one. We know everything about everything, except ourselves. Self-awareness isn't some spiritual luxury. It's the missing gear that keeps the whole machine from grinding itself to dust. Until humanity updates its own operating system, one that runs on empathy, reflection, and genuine understanding, all our progress will just be noise in a world that's forgotten how to listen. The truth is, the future won't be decided by artificial intelligence or economic growth. It'll be decided by whether we finally wake up from the dream of our own importance. So awareness isn't about being perfect, it's about being honest. And maybe, just maybe, if we stopped trying to upgrade the planet and started upgrading the people, we'd finally deserve all this brilliance we keep bragging about. Until then, humanity remains the smartest idiot in the galaxy. Brilliant enough to invent consciousness, but too lazy to use it.